I have a quorum, ladies and gentlemen, so let's call the meeting to order. It is 10 after 12 on Thursday, March 28th. Second item on the agenda is approval of minutes, and we have two that we need to look at. Let's start with the minutes of January 31st. Okay, moved in second. All those in favor?
I'd like to abstain.
Okay, now to the minutes of the meeting of February 28th.
If I can interrupt very quickly, who was wearing the blue shirt?
Yeah.
Next to it was
truly.
fantastic.
Also not listed as members present.
Yeah.
Right. We didn't have a full list, unfortunately, and Michael did step into the role very last minute.
It was wonderful.
Shall I hereafter be known as Guy in Blue Shirt?
I think so.
Not today, though.
Not today.
It's involved a couple of things.
Page 2.
I was not present. I should be under members absent.
Wait. Yeah, this isn't quite correct.
And Lochner and I, Lochner were present.
James,
Jim was not.
So since it's not even on our agenda for approval, I'm happy to go back and make those corrections and bring them back to the next meeting.
Councillor, I also would like to suggest to improve the format a little, because to me it seems more just like rough notes rather than a specific format of minutes, like a we, which really shouldn't be there.
Yeah, we can absolutely.
Use the
Yeah, we'll clean them up.
But again, thank you very much for it.
So Sam, you'll go and
We will go make those
address it and
corrections.
bring it back to the next meeting.
And now that I have a list of people who are on here, now I can actually figure out who's present.
Okay, item number 3 on the agenda is public comment. Any members of the public wish to make comment? Roger, please.
Hi, I'm Roger Marhine, and I just want to make 3 quick points. One is, as context to all of these discussions, the FAA has filed an unfair labor practice with the cancellation of winter 2013. We will go into hearing in July. The second point I want to make is that the FAA is staunchly supporting the maintenance of a winter session in the current contract negotiations, which have now gone to fact-finding. The dates of the fact-finding have not yet been set. The third is that 4 of us in the faculty, myself, Rob Lee, who's on the FA board, Eduardo Caro, a member of the Senate, and Preston Rose, Vice President of the board, met with John Martin and Tony Fellow this morning, primarily around the crisis on the campus and related issues. We did focus mostly on winter session. And I will say this, in a discussion, it basically was pretty candid. We asked John, why was winter canceled back in August? And he expressed that it was a financial consideration. I will say this, that in a lunch about a month ago with Mark, Mark stated it was for pedagogical reasons. And so we're stating to the board that we think the board has been misled and misinformed about what actually has happened. And so the context of their decision was something that they're not quite willing to admit was an error, but they seem open, just as of about 9:30 this morning, to the idea of pursuing more information on the pedagogical importance of winter and the fact that shared governance groups would support it. So that's a context to your discussions today. I want to thank you for your hard work.
Julie, please.
And I'd like to make a follow-up on the pedagogical aspect. I teach psychology, so statistics kind of is my playground. And I happened to be at the board meeting where Matt from your own committee presented the data on student success in the years where we had winter versus student success in the years where we didn't have winter session. And I actually had the opportunity to see the data prior, and I believe that all of his findings were accurate. His data was based on the numbers that he was given. And in fact, our students do succeed during winter intersession better. Statistically, most of the research evidence indicates that students do better in shorter sessions than in longer, and that is the case on our campus as well. And in years where we do have winter intersession, our students succeed better in the spring and fall. So winter has been a positive for our campus.
I would just like to add to that, it's not only success, but also includes retention.
Right.
I have a question actually on
Let me see if there's any more comments from the public. I'm sorry, Simon.
One of the things that I believed, and I want to be corrected if I'm wrong, was that the retention and success in the spring that followed the winter was also a little better. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so moving in from the winter to, because one of the arguments was that anecdotally right now we're seeing great retention and success rates this spring. Obviously we don't have data yet for it. But based on the data that we do have, the spring was also a little bit more successful than it was without the winter.
I think that as a psychologist, a social psychologist, I need to add that we may have great retention and success this semester, but you have to understand who was able to get in this semester. Not everybody was able to get in this semester, so access is substantively different this year than it has been in other years. So the data from this calendar year cannot statistically be compared to other calendar years because the students from this calendar year cannot be statistically compared to the students from other years because the students who managed to get in this year are a very special lot because they were the ones that were further along in their education, because we had fewer classes, because we had fewer seats as a campus. So they're a different group. Access was different this semester.
And plus the data, we don't have any hard data yet as well, so
Right.
we're still anecdotal.
Do we have any, speaking of data, what's spring enrollment this year as compared to spring enrollment last year? Do you know that? Anybody know?
Where? Spring. This spring?
This
or
spring, yeah.
Next year?
This spring. I'm not that far seeing.
So Phil was asking you, the comparison of spring enrollment 2013 as opposed to 2012?
Yes.
I don't know those numbers off the top of my head, but I can definitely get that. And would everybody like to hear that? Because I can get that out of the email to everyone. Okay.
For the VAMS division, it's down about 4%.
VAMS is?
Visual arts
Visual arts,
munitions.
Well, I would just like to add anecdotally, perhaps the reason that virtually every other community college in the state of California has a winter intersession is because it is successful for students. I mean, I don't have to do it, but most of them do, and they have retained it, and they have a similar kind of summer with, a lot of them have different sessions within the summer of various lengths, but the fact that all of the community colleges in this area have winter intersession does speak to the success of it.
Is there any way to know how many students we might have lost to Glendale or to Citrus or to Mount Sac because they went to their winter intersession and then their spring, and instead of enrolling here for the spring only.
I can't imagine how we would know.
Yeah.
Once they go for winter, they can't come back.
That's right, yeah.
I know that we lost a number before Glendale, but I don't know the numbers right now.
Okay. Any other comments from any of the members of the public? Okay. If not, let's move to item number 4 on the agenda. That would be professional development.
All right, on this budget, touchy subject. So the academic senate, as per our discussions of the previous meetings where we don't know what to do because the academic senate hasn't given us a proposal for flex day, I reached out and asked for a proposal, and they were excited to say that they were working on it. And so they're going to give us a proposal for flex day, and it hasn't gone through the process yet, but I believe it will ask us to consider including 2 days or 1 day before the start of fall. That would be in the summer, and that would obviously have to be fully vetted and negotiated and that kind of thing. So that's something for us to be considering, and that's one of the reasons I also wanted you to look at other calendars, because you can see what other colleges are doing for professional development, and they have various different investments. Santa Monica has 9 professional development days. Some of them are institutional and some of them are individual. So they have a different system. Now, it's not for us in this committee to decide whether we have professional development, and it's not entirely up to us to decide when we have it, right? But I just wanted to let you know that discussion is now happening. So at our next meeting, we will probably have an academic senate proposal for that. At our last meeting, or the one before that, however, we did address Jim's point about ending the summer session on, what did we decide, the 20th? August 20th, Saturday. Right. So technically, we don't really have a day before. So I mean, I'm just giving you a heads up. Really, I don't have anything of substance to inform you.
Donations usually happens on the Thursday or Friday.
It's quite common for some professional development days to happen before the start of fall.
I'm sorry, did you say how many days is the academic senate considering?
They said 2.
2 for the year.
Yes, that's
For
what.
the fall, I think, is what is being discussed. But again, it's going to go through the academic senate first before it comes to us.
And was anything mentioned about the spring?
No. And I did tell them that we only had one more meeting to decide it, and that's why I wanted you to know it might be coming. Any other questions about that?
Yeah, we already set one professional development day, October the 1st, correct?
Yes.
That's right.
Okay, and we were talking about one in the spring, but we didn't make any decisions, am I right?
Right, because we hadn't actually been asked to put it in the spring. So we can leave it on the calendar as it is, and we can always remove it if that's what if they don't want to have it. But we can't put one in after we finalize our calendar.
Are there any suggestions on adding in?
I think they would like to put 2 days prior to the start of fall. I'm guessing speculation.
When you say the days, you mean the weekdays, the 22nd and the 23rd?
Mm-hmm.
And would that be instead of the October 1st?
Yes, I think so.
How will that impact classes that are still running if there are any? I mean, I know we've set the end of summer, like right up to that point, even though most classes probably
Well,
won't be in
we did
session.
that not knowing that this might be proposed.
I'd like to clarify that we chose that end date of 24th because in the previous meetings, we had already assigned the 26th as the start of the fall. So
Yeah.
If that flex decision would have had to do it before, would have had to been even before that decision.
So we may end up just having to push it
Yeah, I know,
forward
yeah.
again.
I mean, is there anything to prevent people from utilizing the 22nd and 23rd as the days? It just
Be their contract,
They'll have to have
normally
a
not
contract.
contract teaching there.
Because I remember they came, Matthew Jordan, I think, came and asked for 4 days. In fact, in the Senate meeting, and they only gave him 2. And I thought it was 1 week or falling into the spring when it changed.
Yeah. So there's some confusion. Well, if we don't hear from them, then we just will just correct it.
Many years ago, we had on flex day before school started, not well received by faculty. Because they said they needed to be ready for Monday, so to speak.
Yeah.
That is not.
We'll see what this committee can come up with.
You mean the academic senate group?
Yeah, it's really not our position.
Does anyone on this group sit on that group as well, or? Okay.
Matt Hennis does too, doesn't he? Isn't Matt on faculty senate also?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, because the only thing I was going to say is that I'm not a faculty member, obviously. Understanding the point of professional development being a sort of continuing advancement, continuing sort of learning, that sort of stuff, is the 1 day enough in a year? Especially since I've seen those agendas and they usually are pretty packed. And I'm surprised that we don't have at least another one in the spring as a continuation. Would there be anything to prevent us from putting one in the spring, and if the academic senate decided to use it, then they didn't have to? Or the negotiations, if it didn't work out, then we didn't have to use it, but at least the option would be there. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. The concern with placing in the spring within the academic calendar, that takes a day of instruction out of the academic calendar. The advantage, if you will, of putting it before the actual beginning of the semester is it doesn't interrupt 176 days of instruction. So if it was placed within the spring calendar, it would take a day of instruction out of the spring calendar.
But right now we're already doing that with the October 1st date.
Yeah, it's proposed there. But that's carried over from last year. Okay, and I don't know if somebody has expressed any concerns about that, and I can know that.
And we would need to change the end date of summer then, so that we didn't have summer classes. But then that goes back to the concern that Jim had relating to continuing instruction in that period.
Well, and we'd have to change the start date of fall, which we've already
Move everything around.
It was my understanding that flex days, so-called, were considered instructional.
They are considered days. Yes, they are.
A flex day, typically, if the flex day is mounted within 176 days of instruction, it is an instructional day, but the faculty has to be there, and we have to count the faculty attendance to get the apportionment report. If it's outside of the 176 days of instruction, then it has to be negotiated with the association for the faculty to be mandated to be here, if you will.
And who wanted it outside of the term? Oh, well, if it's an instructional day currently anyway, then the 23rd or the 22nd wouldn't be a negotiation issue. It would just be a instructional issue. It would be.
Because it's not for a 10-month contract. Most faculty, so that's...
But he said that the faculty, I was listening to the video of this talk with the academic side, he said he was prepared to be able to negotiate with the association, the faculty association, for pay on that day, so.
It sounds to me that it's not something that can be taken care of before the beginning of fall.
That's true.
Possibly not.
Yes.
I don't know that we're going to get it into this.
So we should just stick with the 1 day.
But normally we would be working on several years at once. We're really far behind. We should be through 2015 at this point. So at some point maybe we'll catch up, and then we can really reevaluate.
So for now then, we're just keeping the 1 day in October?
For today, yes.
And what's the timeline for a final decision, Mr. Hall?
Our last meeting.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, our
last
last, we
meeting.
have one more meeting for this,
Correct.
for this year.
So if the academic senate came forward with some kind of substantive proposal before that time, then we may be able to make some adjustments.
If we could decide and we can put it in, and if it doesn't work out, if it doesn't get approved or whatever, then it can be.
That would be my suggestion.
I don't know if the Senate has that. Let's see, talk to discussion for this Monday. So, I don't know if
I
that's-
asked for them to put it on the agenda the next time.
That's courtesy, I'll get back to President Hammond just to see where he is on some agenda. Let's move on. Item number 4 is item number 5, 2013-2014 calendar without winter. That is the
One with yellow highlights.
one yellow highlights, thank you, the one that's dominated blue in color.
Actually, no, the blue one is the current calendar for 2012-13. Both the calendars for with and without winter are both green. That's it.
This is this winter.
I have the other one down.
You have space? You can,
Here.
Thank you. So thank you, Simon. This is the one with the yellow highlights. So that is this is a proposed calendar 13-14 with without the winter intersession. Any comments? It's open for discussion now. Maybe about this particular calendar. Jim.
I'm concerned that there's 3 Monday holidays. I don't expect this would go far, but I'm wondering if we could start finals one day later, so that we get one more Monday day of instruction, and then May 5th would be the last Monday only final. Wouldn't affect very many classes, only Monday only classes.
Are you looking at spring 14?
So Monday only classes would be really hard hit. We miss 3 sessions. It's already hard enough when we miss 2. But that's because we don't have a choice with the March 31st date.
So Jim, the question is, the recommendation is to move the start of the semester to.
Well, I don't know if there's a way to extend it one day and have finals start Tuesday the 29th.
Didn't we discuss that last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And it ended up.
Maybe not on there.
I can't remember, but I remember there being an issue. But I don't remember what it was.
Well, when you just got a day in the week, that changes the number of contact hours and meeting times for classes that meet at various times, so it's very awkward. It wouldn't add to the Tuesday, Thursday, but it would add to the Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right, we were trying to say the start of finals, right?
You just add one extra Monday
Well, yeah.
to the calendar. Throws a lot of things out of whack, such as
Good.
meeting times.
That's a duty day. No, it is a duty day. It is a.
And I just suggested that as one idea, but if there's something we can do to mitigate the effects of 3 Monday holidays.
Is there an alternate on the President's Day pattern, other than those 2? I know you end up with 2 3-day weekends and
I
bump
think-
the Monday to, but you probably end up on Friday.
I think the 17th has to be on President's Day.
Normally,
I don't know if they have that memo from the.
Actually, this
Yeah,
one,
I
there are
think
4
usually
Mondays.
around the 12th and 22nd.
May 26th is when they summer.
Oh, never mind.
You already have to lose 17.
So Harold, are you suggesting that we could break up that 4 days?
Well, I mean, if that, no one may care for that, but I think if you break that, you might end up on a Friday. There would be fewer classes on Fridays than Mondays. Or, I know you can do 2 3 days, but we don't have that. I know there's other options for
You had that memo from the chancellor's office. I know people prefer a 4-day weekend from there,
Yes, lots of statements.
but this might be a reason to change for 1 year.
This is actually a problem on both calendars.
Guys, to play the devil's advocate,
No.
it's such a big problem. I mean, we teach this in class during the summer in 6 weeks. Why can't this missing 3 Mondays cause such in super problems?
If you have a Monday-only class,
If you have a Monday, you lose Mondays.
you lose 3 out of 16.
I have a lot of issues with this calendar. One is the one we've been talking about. So many Mondays. Also, if we were to start on the spring semester on the 6th, again, as is the case this year, we're going to be ending up finishing spring early May, which is going to exclude any enrollment from high schools, hopefully. And so the session will first, I don't know, God knows what we're going to call it next year.
Early fall.
But this year, it's going to be just our students that are going to be attending that, or able to attend that, or maybe there might be a stray cat or two that might come in from somewhere. But certainly, high schools are probably running for that session. One of the advantages I see of the winter intersession is that the Monday problem goes away.
Yes.
That's just one advantage.
Almost.
So the 17th has to be, yeah.
The 17th is a
So-
mandatory.
Several choices.
Yeah, but you wouldn't choose another Monday, so we're not going to gain anything.
You must take the 17th.
Yes.
So Kathy, the 17th is a mandatory President Day?
Mandatory, it's flexibility on Lincoln.
It's not going to give us, we can't get off, we can't get off
The
of
Monday, no, you want to get off of that.
So the 20th, the 17th, and the 31st are mandatory.
Yeah, unless you take, you can take it on the 12th, which is the middle of the week, and with the 14th day, you can take it in the middle of the week.
Yeah, but Friday's not the problem.
No, I understand.
So it doesn't really go with it. Because it's, the only reason we consider changing is to not do Monday, but Monday's required. The first is not on this memo.
Oh, but that's the new thing.
Yeah.
Cedar Chavez has to be on the 31st.
Has to be on the
If it falls
31st.
on the
It's
31st,
on the
we have to
31st.
take it,
Right.
yeah.
Unless we chose not to observe that.
Right.
Do we have an option not to? Jim?
Yeah, the district, it's a local district decision whether you want to observe it or not.
A college may close on March 31st, known as Cedar Chavez Day.
I'm not sure that would not observing a holiday would go over maybe more.
Well, would they know?
Would we be able to observe it on a different day? Or do we
Friday,
just-
the
yeah, or
28th?
do we just have to
Yes.
not observe it?
What about Friday the 28th?
I'll check, I think
We,
Captain.
no, we can't,
Yeah, we're mandated to take it on the 31st.
We have to
yeah,
take it
that's
on
what
the
I thought.
So
30th.
the option is either the 31st or it's an open day, or the campus is open. And given the way that, we observe Cedar Chavez Day, I don't think that would be the best idea.
Wouldn't be up to us.
It's up to the district, isn't it?
If we go to districts, but I would agree, I think that would be the best recommendation on decision.
Well, it just looks like we're gonna have to reinstate winter.
Well, we have 3 Mondays gone in the winter, with the winter also.
But they're in different, they're in different terms.
Well,
Yes.
kind of.
Because
yes
we're
and no.
starting on Tuesday the 18th.
You missed that very first Monday.
The first Monday, the 31st, and the 26th.
But that's almost always the way it's been, as far as I know.
It's generally been 2 that we.
Yeah, well, you've got the
Yeah.
20th and 17th in winter, and
That's how
then
they come to the building.
you've got 2. That one.
It's not as bad when you miss the very first day of instruction, especially for the Monday, Wednesday classes. You can usually carry over to the Wednesday. The only problem is going to be the first day of instruction for that, those Monday only classes. Wouldn't
There
be
aren't
till the week
Monday
after.
only classes in the intersection.
No, I'm talking about the start of the spring in the other calendar.
So, either way, we lose 3 Mondays out of it.
Well, man, let's not forget about CSR Charter Statement. That is a day of instruction.
I don't think we can decide that.
You said the district can choose.
The district can decide.
Yeah, I mean, we can't.
That's not up to us.
Oh, not us.
Yeah.
We do it.
And the
You
board
can make a
approved it
recommendation.
as an official holiday as part of our. we
I
have
just
to
wanted to say that the
undo it.
deans now have 1 full year to not have so many Monday-only night classes where that might be a real issue.
Any other questions or comments on the 13-14 calendar without winter?
Well, I guess I would like to return to the summer term. I mean, are we not going to have an extended spring again?
13-14?
Yeah,
Not planned.
not planned. So we're going to run into the same issue for the students who need to transfer who are current now. And
It's going to look like it's going to look different, but it's going to be a different issue than the one we currently have, but there will be issues that will arise because of it. It will just be a different issue.
Yeah.
Well, I think it would be similar.
yeah,
Kind of problem.
There's
the same but different.
Yes.
The same but different.
One question a lot of students have been asking me is, with this summer term being called extended spring, are they still held to the unit cap for a spring semester?
No, the extended spring for this semester is to pick up the concern that obviously has come forward for students to transfer. So those caps that normally students would hit and all the demarcation line for students in the normal enrollment period will be waived summer 13. The plan for summer 14 is not to do an extended spring, is to offer a summer term which will be 12 weeks in length, in which there'll be, what everyone identifies as 2 6-week terms. There'll be 8-week classes, 9-week classes, and then 12-week classes, 6-week classes. You have a range amount of different kind of classes, and then a 12-week instructional period. But it will all be something.
But those classes would not be eligible for immediate transfer, correct?
So, one of the big issues that you would run into with that will be for students who aren't great academically, especially for those students who come in the fall, generally take it a little bit laissez-faire, and then, oops, class repetition. One of the benefits of the winter has been class repetition because you can, pull up that grade that you missed in the fall without penalty, whereas now, in the spring, students may, I would certainly feel this way, may feel more inclined to not repeat, but to keep on their ed plan track and not take that opportunity to repeat a class that they need to keep moving forward. And so they would need to wait till the summer, perhaps, the summer 6 weeks, and then that would be counted transfer. So there are these, that middle period session I think has been very important and valuable for that reason. It does limit the number of opportunities within a single academic year to obtain the same level of classes, because instead of having a summer which is both transfer and basic skills oriented, you would now have only the 3 terms instead of the 4 opportunities. So that's the big concern that I have, and that's whether or not we do the summer term with multiple sessions in it, because some of the conversations seem like we're actually weaning away from that, and we're going to start doing more 12-week classes versus the traditional 6 and 6. I mean, that may not be the case, but that's kind of the implication that I've heard, is that we should be moving more towards a 12-week model for classes versus a 6-week model for classes.
I haven't heard that either, and I
hope I'm wrong.
I understand that it'll be a 12-week period of time, but 6 and 6, those kind of things. If that's the advantageous way to schedule classes, that's what we'll do. And then the advice is carried over to the deans, and Dr. Allen, what she's doing from her office. So it's not prescriptive that a 12-week period means the majority of the classes and the term length, if you will, at 12.
Is there going to be a unit cap for summer term courses?
For 8.3, I think.
Again, and because of the necessity to respond, those kinds of things, if you help our students getting what they need to do in the summer, not in the spring, no. Summer, we're back on our traditional level of union cap for the summer, but not the extended spring.
And it would be 8 or 9?
8.3.
But then the issue then comes if we have a summer term that has the two side-by-sides, and I'm one of the students that wants to take the two side-by-sides to their fullest capacity, what would the unit cap be for a 12-week summer versus a 6-week summer? Would it still be 8.3, or would it be increased to the regular semester of 19.3?
It would be 8.3 twice. Would it not?
Well, that's the thing, is that we're scheduling short-term classes within a single period of time. So as far as the Chancellor's office is concerned, as far as our semester term is concerned, the unit caps relate to the term that you're in, not to what short-term classes you're taking. So it's not like I can take 19.3 units of short-term classes and then again.
Well, in the past, have we not called summer session 1 and summer session 2? So there's a reason for doing that, and just calling it summer academic term.
But that's when, yeah, well, that's when they were literally two distinct with two startups at times.
And also, the phrase academic term is not one that I'm very familiar with, or what that necessarily means. But it does seem to raise potential problems for how it will be interpreted by other schools. Why not just call it an intersession, which is what it actually is?
The summer intersession?
Yeah.
Summer semester.
Because full-time faculty are not contracted for that academic term, so it's misleading. The phrasing is misleading.
Well, it can be called an intersession. I mean, the way it mounts in the calendar, what the Chancellor's office looks at, anything less than a term length period is an intersession, and so this is president. But our term length would be 16 weeks, so the Chancellor's office does view this as an intersession. So intersession term, they're interchangeable if you go in that respect.
So we're looking at a change of title to summer intersession and deleting academic term.
Are you proposing that? Making a motion?
I thought that's what we were. I will so move.
I'm questioning why
Well,
we use that phrase.
I wasn't there until we added this, those little yellow things that glare at you. I don't think that wasn't there. And that's, yeah, we used to have, it just called summer 1 and summer 2.
It's misleading,
But it
because
is
it does suggest that that it is a regular semester, and it is not.
Well, I would suggest, because that was this thing was added as a thought, but because somebody was saying, when does it start? But rather than clutter it up with that, if you need a highlight, just put a highlight on last day and first day and dispose of that, because I don't think it's that hard. Somebody thought it had to look, but I don't think how.
Well,
I think it works better without these things on it.
We didn't make it. So.
Summer 1, summer 2,
I think Matt we voted on it.
Dean, if I could put one foot on your institutional knowledge, when we did summer 1 and summer 2 in the past, were we limited to just 6 weeks offering in each of those periods, or did we have anything beyond 6 weeks?
My recollection is we always called it summer intersession. And then we had summer 1, which had, I think, 6 weeks worth of courses taught. Those would conclude, and we would start another 6-week session, if my memory serves me.
Except for nursing that has to go to kids.
Well, they have nursing.
They have to go through.
So if I'm hearing correctly, they were primarily 6 and 6. They weren't a lot of 9-week classes.
No, except special cases, like nursing or some other special case.
I don't know about those so much, but a few of them are.
Anybody in the natural sciences here? Know how you guys? Anybody natural sciences?
No, but I believe
they have
that they do have longer summer running classes. Yeah. Sounds like something's happening over there.
to your point, I don't think I made a formal motion, but
I'll withdraw my motion. I thought our discussion was indicating that the language of academic term is problematic, and that to change it to intercession would be less problematic, and perhaps go over well with the Lord High Monkey Months in the Chancellor's office.
And again, my reference to Dina, that seems to be consistent with what we've done in the past, so there is, if you will, precedent for doing that. So, maybe you want to consider that, to change the term, this from a summer academic term per se to a summer intercession. Summer one, summer, what did you say, summer intercession?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion on that?
I have a question. So, for the programs mentioned that have to go through like for like a 10-week term or longer, would this affect them natively by splitting it into two?
No.
As long as they're scheduled beginning and end within that the 2 intercession time period, should be okay. Okay, so moved and second. Any other comments on that?
So, making this clear, if we split it into 2 intercessions, would there be 2 separate unicaps?
Yes. Historically, that's what's happened.
Yeah, but they would be distinct intersections. Intersections. We got 2 now.
So that should be actually summer intercessions, plural.
No, intercession, yes, summer one.
Summer intercession, singular, and within that, summer 1, summer 2. I think that's how we do it.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. So move, second, any other comments?
And this is on the 2013 calendar, on the trimester calendar?
Yes.
The motion was to change summer academic term to summer intercessions 1 and 2.
Okay, so if we vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
I'd like my abstention recorded.
Same here.
Okay, 2 abstentions. Jim, I'm
Should the
sorry.
dates on the, we can change the dates on that too, because it's not now, if May 13 is considered spring, should that be June 24th?
The only problem with that is we haven't changed our current calendar, so we're going to be...
Jim said,
Well, we say summer intercession, but we're not calling May 13 to June 21st. We're calling that extended spring.
no, that extended spring is just 13 next year. In
This is different.
calendar year 14, that will, May.
No, at the top of the page. Maybe you could just leave that off.
I'm not sure what you're saying. Or here, yeah. Well, we... Yeah, it doesn't go down there.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Take it
yeah.
off.
Right, okay.
Remove the summer academic term at the top of the page.
Just delete the whole.
That was just.
Because it needs to be...
Exactly.
You know, I'm sorry, I do have a class at 1, and I'm going to have to leave, especially since there's a bit of a disturbance outside. I want to make sure everything's okay.
Sure.
So, I just want to say that on this calendar, I appreciate the tweaking that we're doing. However, if we were to come to a vote on it, I would vote no, because I firmly believe that this is the calendar we should be pushing forward. In fact, this is the one that we recommended as a configuration the last 2 weeks ago. And so, while I appreciate the tweaking of all of them, I would be voting no on any trimester calendar. And since I'm about to leave, you're open on this quorum.
Should we have a vote on
I'm
that?
sorry.
Well, I'm not going to class, but we have a 1 o'clock appointment. That's so I have to do as well. But we did not get to the 6th. Very important. That is the consideration of a 13-14 calendar with the winter.
Didn't we decide to recommend that, and didn't we recommend that to the board
Yes.
last time?
We recommended
So-
it as, what did we call it, a configuration.
Yeah.
Configuration.
We did not set the date.
Okay.
We did a lot of talking about that.
Okay.
If I can make a suggestion for expediency, I think that we now have both of the calendars with the dates on them. I think for both of them, if we want to look at the dates and decide if we need to make any tweaks, or when we come in, we can sort of be ready to say this is our tweaks of each calendar, and then we can actually get to sort of deciding which one we want to push forward. And maybe we would have to call a special meeting if we only have one meeting left. And that would just be my suggestion.
Before, and I appreciate that, but before Simon leaves, I'm inclined to believe that we may have to convene other than the one we're finding, because we're not going to be able to do this, we did one meeting. I mean, an hour's time is not going to give us time to do this. So, with that as consideration, we'll get out and look at calendars and see if we can do that, see if we can convene prior to the next meeting, which is scheduled for whatever that last.
April.
April 23rd.
Ooh.
Maybe we could possibly get a meeting in June.
Yeah.
But Simon's suggestion, I would like to second that, and that is homework to everybody could, if everybody could take some time to look at these dates and talk to your constituencies about dates on the
Thanks.
calendars, so we can come in with the ability to move forward.
So we could possibly have a meeting on the April 11th or the 18th or something. When's the next scheduled one? 23rd. So, but that's a Tuesday. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
The 25th.
Thursday.
Next scheduled meeting would be.
So one for the 11th. Okay.
I'm a little befuddled by the date.
Okay, I move that we have a meeting on April 11th.
Point of order, do we still have quorum?
We do not.
I do not have a quorum at the moment.
So, can't make a motion.
So,
We can schedule
Oh,
a meeting
okay.
and see if people can make it. I know it's difficult to suddenly add another meeting.
It's a Thursday.
Tina came in after you called one.
Yes.
Didn't get here for that.
make count.
Yes.
So,
So go ahead and make it.
Oh, okay. I move that we schedule a meeting for April 11th, Thursday.
Second. May I ask what time?
Same time.
Same time, same thing.
Could we consider the 18th instead of 11th? Just as people look at their own personal calendar.
18th is, I can accept the amendment. Since I made the motion, aren't I supposed to accept the amendment?
if you will accept that as a friendly amendment.
I'm sorry. I'm just getting Yeah, general meeting on the 13th. I told the conference.
I mean, it's at-
Well,
same time.
keep it at 11th.
So the 11th.
Is everyone looking at calendars? Does everyone have a sense of what the 18th would do for them? But I'll have to move something around, but if that's,
Well, it's sounding like it's not working.
Go back to the 11th.
11th, is that work for you?
I'm saying, I will have to adjust some things, but I think I can make the 11th work. So the 11th work for generally everyone else? For the motion?
Motion to, okay.
Motion for the motion is to call for the state motion.
Okay. I move we have a meeting on April 11th, Thursday. at noon.
Second. I gotta go to class.
Okay. So the motion is to call a special meeting of the calendar commission for April 11, 2013, to convene at 12 o'clock.
Yes.
Do you want to
And a
that?
second.
Second.
Oh, yeah, the second just walked out the door. Okay.
All those in
So it's
favor?
been moved in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so folks, we are adjourned for the day. Thank you very much. We will reconvene